What's going on, guys? My name is Joey Franzo with Flex Training Systems, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about or just answer a question that I got from one of my clients. He's also a friend of mine. His name is Danny Sullivan, and basically he asked me about partials. If you've been following me for a while, I haven't actually addressed this recently, but I'm not really too much a fan of partials. Things like block pulls, board press, things like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and break that down, as to why I'm not okay with that, or I'm not gonna program it, and I just don't see like it has very much practical application for what we want as raw powerlifters. I'm speaking mainly from the perspective of a raw lifter. I don't know too much about equipment, so I'm not really gonna go too much into that. I have worked with knee wraps before, but when it comes to gear lifting, I'm definitely not the specialist there. Alright, so why don't I like, what is the problem with using partials? The reason why I don't like partials is because people tend to focus on an area of the lift where they're weak. Let's just use the bench press for simplicity. That could be right off the ground or right off your chest. That could be towards lockout. But usually it is when the lever is when you're at this angle, okay? This angle right here, just so you guys can see. So kind of like that 45 degree angle. If my geometry's wrong, I don't give a fuck. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, this angle basically is what I'm talking about. I'll try to line it up with the corner of the video so you guys can see this right here. Whether it's squat, bench, deadlift, the femur or the humerus has to overcome, and your torso, if you're deadlifting, has to overcome that leverage. So people will put in, blocks or whatever, blocks, boards, whatever you want to do, right there or just below it, or maybe just above it, which is even worse, to try and get you stronger from that area in hopes to bring up everything all together. The reason why I don't like doing that is because essentially as powerlifters, we're trying to build muscle from the competition lift or the style that we're going to be using in competition. So you're never so basically you're not maximizing your muscle growth. You want to work the entire range of motion. Okay, there's no point in adding it. Like if I said you want to increase your bench press, let's just not even do bench press and work on your sticking point, because that's the weakest part of the lift, right? Your sticking point is always going to be your sticking point unless you change your grip or your stance or something like that. It's always going to be your sticking point. So instead of trying to focus on that one little area, why not just work the whole range of motion, build as much muscle as possible, get jacked and move more weight. My sticking point on the bench is kind of midway. It's always been like that, because I haven't really changed my grip too much. I've moved from this finger to this finger, but it's pretty much the same thing. I put 100 pounds on my bench since 2013, and I've been benching for almost 11 years. So and I haven't done any boards or anything like that. I don't see the use in them. My goal is to build as much muscle, and I think all of our goals as powerlifters, as much muscle in that plane of motion that we can, that range of motion that we can. And adding in a partial is not only you're probably gonna overload, so you're gonna be using more than you're used to. But so it's gonna beat you up, okay? And you're not so you're handling more weight than your connective tissues are used to, which is probably going to lead to injury, or you're going to feel achy and then you have to deload, which means you're not doing as much volume, and then you're just going to get weaker. So why not just work the full range of motion? It's a lot simpler than people like to admit. Maybe you like doing blocks. Maybe you're one of those guys that likes to have 500 pounds in his hand and move it from 1 inch to like a 10 board or something stupid. And it makes you feel good inside. Then if you like doing that, go ahead and do that. I'm not here to tell you don't do it. I'm just not a fan of it. I've seen overwhelming almost success with my people, and very good success with myself, just sticking to basic it's like a basic bodybuilding principle. You want to work the full range of motion. You want to hit. You want to do, you know, multiple sets to knock down those layers, those different layers of muscle fibers, and just make the muscle bigger from that plane of motion, and you're going to end up lifting more. Now, an argument to this can be, you know, look at the deadlift. The deadlift is, if you're doing sumo, it's a partial, right? And you don't really see people doing deficit sumo deadlifts, and you can actually kind of get hurt doing that stuff. Which just means it's the same kind of principle. Like I coach people that bench from a variety of bench grips, right? One of them that comes to mind in particular that you guys know, and I bring him up all the time, is Sean Noriega. He has a very wide bench grip, and he uses like a minimal range of motion, right? He can tolerate, you know, he can tolerate benching very, very frequently because it's not a full range of motion. If I give him close grip and have him do sets of, you know, like 12, 10, 8 in 1 week, he's gonna be like annihilated because he's working the full range of motion, right? Over time, he might get used to that and then, you know, build more from that, you know, muscularity wise, and then that might carry over to a bigger bench press. Or I could just give him a shit ton of benching from the competition style and increase his bench that way. And he'll be able to handle more because it's not a full range of motion. So if we're talking about a sumo guy, sumo's already it's already a partial range of motion, and you're gonna make it even more of a partial and just work, you know, from blocks. Sumo lifters can usually handle more volume, but if you think about it, a conventional deadlift session will probably tax them much more. Like if I were to just throw it in and say, all right, Sean, you're gonna do like 3 sets of 8, you know, RP 6-ish, 7-ish, it's probably gonna tax them a little more than if that was done sumo. Sumo is a partial range of motion, adding in the blocks. Now, so you add in the blocks, you're getting even less, and I would say blocks can be a little bit better, or somewhat useful because you can work grip. And in the deadlift, we have to hold the bar, so anything that you can do for that is going to help you. And I think that holds are really the only way to increase your grip strength, or just doing like a shit ton of volume with your hands, but that's going to beat your hands up. But there's better movements for that, or better exercises, meaning you can just do a high rack pull and just lock it out, hold it, and then put it back down. Blocks might feel a little bit more natural, but like I would not want to really have someone accrue a ton of volume or a fatigue debt using blocks. Blocks can really beat you up. And I got another dog here. This is Callie. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me see if you guys can see. Callie. Happy Callie. Callie's a good girl. Alright, anyway. But yeah, so, you know, blocks can be useful for grip, but that's speaking specifically in the deadlift. I would not, obviously you don't want to be doing a ton of work from blocks. You're probably going to get beat up, and then when you have to pull from the floor, the bar's not going to move. So that is my response to that. Now, I have heard people say, you know, well, blocks can help you find a good position on the sumo deadlift, but so can just doing more sumo deadlifts. Working singles. There's other ways to achieve what you're trying to achieve without using blocks. And I think anybody will tell you that's done extensive block work that their hips probably feel annihilated, because you're loading those fibers from a different. You're applying stress to the hip at a different point than had you just been applying it from the bottom of the lift and then carrying that weight all the way through. So it's probably not gonna feel good. We just want to be as jacked as we possibly can. We want to build as much muscle as we can to get stronger at the lifts. More muscle usually means, you know, aside from building more muscle, just being technically sound. So improving your technique and dialing in your technique through practice those are like the two main ways that you're going to increase your 1 rep max, which is what we care about because we're powerlifting. So that's my take on partials. I don't I'm not gonna add them in. I might add them in if I want someone to do, you know, some grip work or something on a deadlift. But other than that, I'm not cool with blocks and stuff like that. I just think it's inefficient. I think it's kind of dumb. I mean, if you're gonna do like a low pin press or something, that can help you kind of get used to tension there, but there's other movements like tempo bench, long pause bench, things like that, that can help. So I hope you guys are able to take something away from that. If you feel this video deserves so, please drop a like down below. Also, my t-shirts. So I have t-shirts, I have competition t-shirts, regular t-shirts, a bunch of different colors, and we have sweaters in the description down below. Those are gonna run for probably 11 days. And then I have to take them down, and then we gotta make them. I want them to be out by the Arnold, which is gonna be March 3rd. So everybody should have them the week of March 3rd. So if you guys are interested in that stuff, go ahead and hit that down below, and use code FLEXFAM, and yeah, go ahead and save yourself 10%. Other than that, I will leave links to all my other various social medias down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you in the next video.